All right, so let's begin the session. This is Ignite Global, and I have Kate Chi and Penny Mark with us, two Ignite Global graduates, those who are already professional certified coaches. And also, the highlight is recently they achieved their ACTC credential. In fact, they are two of our very first graduates to acquire ICF's newest credential, which is Advanced Certification in Team Coaching. So, welcome, Kate. Welcome, Penny. Thank you for spending this time discussing how to ace ACTC credential. Now, when we say how to ace, what we truly mean by that is really sharing our experiences with you, how to approach this credential, how to successfully obtain this credential through the requirements, the learning curve, the skill building journey that is ahead of us. So I would like to certainly welcome all of our colleagues also who are joining this session live. And thank you for being here. If you have any questions, you're most welcome to communicate with our practitioners at the same time. Feel free to send your questions initially in the chat room, and I'm happy to bring them to the attention of our resource speakers today. And also those who are joining online, welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to us, and we are more than happy to look into them and provide you with any clarification that is possible. So as we dive in, let's hear from Kate and Penny. Let's invite them to introduce themselves. Kate, Penny, over to you. Would you like to talk about a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Fernando, for giving me this opportunity to meet a lot of our colleagues, our coach colleagues, and maybe some alumni here as well. My name is Kate Shi. I started a training journey with Fernando almost 2 years ago, so it's November 2023. So now I've achieved PCC and achieved ACTC under the program with Fernando, and I feel last 2 years has been a very enriching experience to be in the program with Fernando and our cohorts. Penny and I, we were paired up by ourselves. We are volunteered to pair up ourselves. So we'll talk about a little more of our pair up. Now I'm going to give to Penny to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you, Fernando. And yes, I see a few familiar names. Lovely to be here. As Kate said, we were both in the same cohort, and yeah, it's 2 years in November. I'm Irish, but based in New Zealand. Kate's in Houston, I think, aren't you, Kate?
Yes.
Yep. And so we actually did the cohort, but I didn't do it live. So we can talk a bit more about that. But it was so nice. Kate reached out and that we paired up, and it was actually a human that I could work with. So I got to know the group and Fernando really well from listening online and doing all my sessions that way, like pre-recorded. And then it was really nice to catch up with everybody, obviously live after. So, but like Kate, got my PCC as well last year, and I've also got my ACTC recently as well. So hopefully this can help some people out there in the world doing the ICF, because I know when I was looking for help, there weren't that many people out there that I could find who had done it. And so, yeah, please ask any questions, and hopefully we can.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say, if any of you has any questions, put into the chat. Let's say which part of the process you feel most challenging. You know, maybe what the question you have may not be in my mind or in our mind, and you can feel free to put in the chat. Later on, you might get opportunity to ask. And if there's time, Fernando opened up your mic, you can ask. But would be more helpful if we can customize to your question, you know, maybe. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Penny and Kate, your introductions. And the first thing that I notice is how you both take charge in this space and how you're co-creating already, which is a very, very important aspect of a group and team coach. So I'm already starting to see your authority in this space, and that's fantastic. I absolutely invite that authority, that leadership that you're providing to this session already, Kate and Penny. Thank you very much. All right, so let's dive into this session. And I think there was an initial question coming through from Lynn asking whether this session will focus on MCC written exam. It's not. This session fully focuses on group and team coaching certification and also how to approach the ACTC credential. As many of you are aware, the ACTC credential and the team coaching programs tend to be at level 2 most of the time, not necessarily the level 3 program. Therefore, this session does not necessarily address directly MCC written exam, but at the same time, if you're looking for resources at Ignite Global, we have a test, a mock test for PCC and MCC written exam at a fee. You're most welcome to explore that. If you would like specific information, feel free to reach out to my team. We will be more than happy to share further details about this exam. And in fact, we have conducted previously webinars discussing about MCC and PCC credential exam, and they are also available to you through YouTube as well. All right, so coming back to group and team coaching, especially ACTC credential, I would like to bring our attention to the journey Kate and Penny have been. So Kate and Penny, we would like to understand your journey to ACTC. I'm certain that there's a lot of nitty-gritty details. If you are to share with us a bit in a nutshell how your journey was, we would be very grateful. Penny, would you like to start?
Yes, no problem. Well, the reason why I came to Fernando and Ignite was obviously I'm individual coach. I was ACC. I wanted to do PCC, and team coaching obviously is becoming more popular. And it was, you know, the fact that you did both together for me, the PCC and the ATC, was something that really appealed. My journey was, I must say, from dealing with Leah and Fernando, she does all the administration. You were absolutely fantastic. If anyone's got questions, just to kind of reach out. You made it possible that I could do it, you know, remotely on demand. And so for me, that was quite a big thing, because weren't they 3 or 4 hour long sessions. And so when I joined the cohort, there was 5 of us. It was important that I could do the work, obviously, following this, you know, listen to the sessions, following the sessions. And I found it to be, and you had said that to me, and you gave me referees of people who had done it like that before. And I just want to say that it is totally possible to do it that way. Even though I wasn't live in the actual sessions doing some of the pairing and the activities, I was doing it when I was like listening to you afterwards as well. So I found that really beneficial. I think just knowing what to look out for, like through our sessions, the way some of the practice and role plays were, you did a really good job of explaining and helping us understand. A couple of things that really stood out was always like the coach shouldn't be doing the hard work. The team should be doing the hard work. They're the single entity. They're the client. And you were really good at showcasing that through all the sessions with us, you know, with regards to asking questions and getting us as a group to challenge each other and ask each other questions. And you used some lovely analogies, like throw the tennis ball to the next person and get them, you know, ask them a question. And so they were the things that kind of stood out. The other thing was a reminder for the PCC for the exam, both with, like, we had our mentoring sessions and then we did the exam obviously as well. And, you know, with the ACTC, doing it within 2 years, I found really useful to get, that was my goal, to kind of keep the momentum going. And I'd encourage anybody, if they were on the same pathway or even just ACTC, just to kind of try and get it done as not as fast as you can. But for me, it was like, if you've got some of those team coaching or group coaching engagements already in your toolkit, really go and find out all the information you need for the application, which we can kind of go into as well, and start putting everything in a folder so that you have everything ready. Start understanding what's needed from you from the application will help you move a bit faster through that. But for Kate and I, we were quite lucky that we had, you know, we did the PCC first, both of us did it that way. And I think by reading all the competencies, ICF core competencies and the code of ethics really helped personally my preparation for ACTC, because I did so much work for that. I felt like I didn't have to do as much work on those 2 areas, because it was all kind of in my head still. So that was just a tip from me. And yeah, lovely cohort, still in touch. Met one of them in Ireland when I was there last June by complete accident. And it's lovely to be part of the group. And with Ignite, you're an alumni and you always have access, and Fernando and Lee are great at answering questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Kate, over to you.
Sure, thank you. When I was first started, I was thinking about getting level 2 training. That was 2 years ago, and I had an interview with Fernando. I said, okay, I need to know this trainer. You know, I really want to know this trainer. Do I have a confidence in the trainer? Whether we can have a good rapport. It's not about the knowledge. I felt like I'm going to the training to really to want to see this trainer as a master for me as well, master trainer in training everything. And he mentioned about team coaching. Team coaching was in my radar because I had over 30 years experience working as engineering lead, project managers. So in those type of role, you work with a team all the time, work with the stakeholders, work with contractors, clients. And team coaching was in my radar, but I didn't think I want to do that yet because I knew little about what is team coaching. But actually, through that conversation with Fernando, really encouraged me. Oh, if I can do it together, why not? Let's do it. I didn't know how difficult, how challenging, or how easy it would be. I kept open mind. I say, well, if my trainer side is going to, I really trust Fernando's, his experience in bringing me through that process. And so I signed up that one. I'm so glad I did. I really, like some people said, kill two birds in one stone. They go hand in hand, so close. It was a little bit intense for during the training time, but it's really worth it. It's really worth it. And what I found was very helpful doing the team training. Penny mentioned she went to the PCC exam first, so did I. I was going to write ACTC exam first, but everything didn't pan out that way. I still finished my PCC. I got my PCC approval first. ACTC took me. You always go one at a time. I wrote ACTC exam 5 days after I completed my PCC exam, and pass on the first try. So both exams pass on the first try. I feel I had a very good foundation through the training of this group and team coaching. It's a great cohort, and Fernando was a great trainer. The material really expand. Oh, what a team coaching is about. Some people, some coach on the side asked me, hey, I want to know, no client asked me for team coaching, so I don't know if I want to do team coaching. How could your client know more than you about team coaching? And as a coach, it's our responsibility to know what's the individual coaching, what's the team coaching, what's the group coaching, what's good for my client, what value I can add in, I can propose to them to add value to them. Meanwhile, also for us, for our coaching business to grow, I think we have to take ownership of this thing so that we can propose to our client. And I don't know how motivating it is to wait for a client to come to ask that, although that's also another way to moving forward with team coaching. So if you already done team coaching, or you are interested, you're curious about it, I would encourage you, go for it. And it is so much, we add so much asset in our package, in our human package, or as a coach, so that we have a lot of tools and we have a package, and then we can offer to our client whatever we feel need. Or as a coach, we enlarged our vision, our understanding, our perception of what coaching can help our client, we will be much more confident.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Penny, for your insights, your journey. As you're both speaking, I was recalling the times that we were working together, the live cohort, Penny's emails going back and forth, all the live sessions that we did. It was such a great time, such joyful, fun times, I must say. And I'm so very excited as you both are now fully qualified as ACTC with the ACTC credential, and continuing to create impact in your groups and teams that you work with and the organizations that you work with. So thank you for your service, Kate and Penny, and all those coaches, those who are watching this, those who are joining us. If you're curious about some of the things that were mentioned already about dual certification, two birds with one stone, PCC and ACTC both together. If you're becoming curious, please give me a few minutes. I will very quickly share with you how our approach at Ignite Global, how we approach two credentials with one training. And then we look forward to hearing more from both Kate and Penny about their experiences, particularly focusing on ACTC credential, as that is our main topic today. So I want to share with you very, very quickly a brief introduction to this program. And let me start with our graduation this year. So these wonderful professionals, coaches from our colleagues from around the world gathered in Thailand. In fact, I see Rico in the meeting, and Rico, you were here with us. So such an amazing movement. So we love celebrating the success of our professionals, those who go through our programs. So we are very excited to see some of you in this space. So let's talk quickly about Ignite Global's program. How do we cater to credentials directly through one program? So we offer dual certification with our professional coaching advanced mastery certification for coaching groups and teams. So in fact, this is our first certification out of the dual certification. And I think I must mention very quickly how this program came to be to begin with. About 10 years ago, when I was only an ACC at the time, in fact, I was working with many mentors with a lot of experience in the industry. And two of my mentors, both of them were MCCs, even at the time, they were both conducting team coaching in organizations. And I noticed that the work that they were doing absolutely very impactful. So I became curious to understand about team coaching and to potentially deliver team coaching. The interesting thing is now when I say team coaching, it's familiar to you. We talk about ACTC credential and so on. But you are aware the ACTC credential came to be only about 2.5 years ago. And the team coaching competency came or it were introduced by ICF only a few years ago. So 10 years ago, there was no talk about team coaching as such, and there were no team coaching competence, there were no team coaching training or anything like that. If you come from a psychology background, you have learned some areas of industrial psychology, specifically if you focused on learning and development and human resource aspects, but that was all about it. So I became very curious about team coaching, and I asked both of these mentors if I could learn from them through the mentoring supervision they were doing and also working with them as an apprentice. And I was so fortunate at a very early stage of my career, I had the opportunity to be able to be mentored, supported, and also work under them. So as I was working with them, I started to notice how beautifully the coaching competency and some of the industrial psychological aspects can be combined together in a way. Human associations can come together, and how team coaching can be extremely powerful technique for teams to create their own autonomy, groups to create their own autonomy and become a group of people, those who can work cohesively really well. So this is how I became inspired to be a team coach. So what I did was, once I gained the knowledge and experience from working with my mentors, I started delivering team coaching in organizations. Like Kate said, no one asked for team coaching. What I did was helping them understand what team coaching is to begin with, and then delivering it in a powerful way. In the long run, within 6 months, they realized how powerful it was. And one of the interesting things I noticed is that what most of the organizations started telling me, they started telling me, we have a lot of facilitators, we have a lot of consultants, we have a lot of trainers, but what you're doing is completely different. And some of our some of our senior executives, senior leaders are trained as coaches. Can you please teach these trained leaders who are trained as coaches to also be able to deliver team coaching? So this is how this program actually was initiated. But since there was no team coaching competency, since there was no team coach training or anything like that at the very beginning, I created this program initially as an organizational development specialist using a coaching approach. I wanted to come up with a title for this training that made sense to people, because often people ask, what is team coaching? And it still is happening in the industry at the moment, I believe. So initially I created the team coaching competence myself, and then I created this program, this robust program, Kate and Penny are talking about. And then I thought once it was delivered, it was well received. So I thought, although there were no team coaching competency, this was about 8 years ago, I thought, what about I submit this program to ICF and see whether they may accredit it, because I still use the core competency as the main framework, and then the team coaching competencies are added on top of that. And for my surprise and also my humbling pride, ICF decided to accredit this program. At the time, it was accredited as a level 2 program, if not the program that is for there was no level 2 at the time, right? So it was for coaches, those who are in the level as PCC, because the core competency knowledge is absolutely necessary to be able to develop as a group and team coach. Therefore, it was positioned as a PCC level program, and this is how I started. And then, of course, few years later, ICF introduced their team coaching competency, and I was a little bit uncertain what this would mean. And once they released the competency framework, I laid them side by side, and what I noticed was this program had a much more scope in comparison to what the team coaching competencies entailed when ICF released them. So that was a huge relief for myself. And then also I decided I'm going to continue to maintain the accreditation as a level 2 program for this, and then also change the name as Professional Coaching Advanced Mastery Certification for coaching groups and teams. So that way we can tap into ICF ACTC credential, and we also can maintain organizational development specialist designation as well. So this is how this program is a dual certification. And now to give you a little bit of an insight into it, how does it how does it enable you to go to both PCC and ACTC? I would like to share with you a little bit more, like give me another 2 minutes. So when we look at this program, currently this program is delivered by 12 faculty members. In fact, as you can see, Kate is one of the faculty. Unfortunately, Penny lives in a time zone that she cannot really be a faculty. We have had this discussion before, but otherwise I would have loved to have Penny as well. Penny, in the future, if there's a chance, you're most welcome to join us, as you are aware. All right, so how do you go to the PCC credential through this program? Like I said, when I accredited this program, I kept it at level 2 instead of accrediting it as a full core competency framework focused coaching program. I accredited it as a level 2 program, which focuses on team coaching competency. And then you would say, I must say, actually, the team coaching program does not directly address core competency in that depth, because you're expected to have that knowledge when you come to the team coaching, this certification, which means the prerequisite for this program is level 1 certification, or at least 60 hours of coach specific education and 100 hours of coaching experience are required to be able to enroll in this program. Since this is accredited as a level 2 program, and we also have a robust PCC mentoring program, in combination, we are able to enable you to go towards the PCC credential through this path. In fact, since our colleagues already have been through, you are most welcome to ask how to do that. And then also, because it is a team coach specific program, you can seamlessly bring this qualification into ICF Advanced Certification in Team Coaching Credential, which is ACTC credential. So this is how it happens, right? So in fact, we have a program commencing on the 21st of October, which is next Wednesday, and we still have a few seats. So if you are interested in, you're most welcome to join us. I'm happy to share a little bit more about this program at a later stage once we have heard from Penny and Kate as we continue. So now let's invite, there's actually a question asked by one of our colleagues, also a graduate of this program, Usa. Let's hear from Let's answer Usa's question to begin with. So, Penny and Kate, Usa's question is, do you have any suggestions on ACTC application and the exam? Now, before we directly answer this question, I would like to invite Penny and Kate to share what were the steps that you took before the ACTC application and the exam. And once you share those steps, along with that, let's also talk about what are some of the suggestions and the ACTC application and the exam insights as well. So what was the steps towards the ACTC application? We begin with this question. Kate, would you like to start?
Sure. The steps, I think the number one is finish the program. The program was very, very, very good, very condensed, a lot of contents and a lot of growing learning. I think when Fernando designed the program, he had a lot in mind. He just not deliver team coaching competency to us, and or have us gain some knowledge. He was thinking about if you're going to get a credential, you're going to practice as a team coach. So his package is so many things in the program. And so at the end of the program, he said, oh, you got to team up and find a pair, then to do some engagements. We have, so Penny and I, we teamed up. We were the first one teamed up quickly, because we already talked, after between the classes already. And so I took charge, started engagement. Penny took charge, started another engagement. And also this is coach and a co-coach. So with my colleague, Penny had been a coach for many years, and she was working on level 2, and I was working on level 2 to become a PCC and ACTC. So we were very in tune with each other. And we had the same training. I think that's very important. Have the same training. We knew how to cooperate with each other. We did really well for the 2 engagements. So the good thing about when Fernando asked us to do the engagement as a part of the program in order to graduate, to get your certificate, that's very important. I don't know other places do that, because when we do these engagements, we may have a question. That's like a rubber hit the road. You really, what you learn, the knowledge, you got to practice. And when you have a question, you can still come back to ask Fernando. And also have my cohort that we communicate with each other, try to resolve whatever dilemma we may encounter. And that's a very important step. So training and then engagement. And there's 5 engagements required to get ACTC, and you have to work out the other 2 or 3. I know Fernando offered another program for incubator. Yeah, that's called an incubator program. Then you have a greater audience to access Fernando's client and network to do another engagement. And you also need to pair up with that. Then was when time comes for me to, okay, move on to the next one, to work with a coaching supervisor. So I reached out to Fernando as well. I feel like this is a one-stop shop. I said, oh, do you have any like a coaching supervisor you can refer me to? Fernando, he's qualified. He's a coaching supervisor as well, but because he's busy, he referred me to his mentor. He's a supervisor who's also MCC, much more senior, much more experienced. And I felt when I first reached out to the coaching supervisor, wasn't a good timing about this time, and she wasn't available until later. So until the earlier beginning of this year, so we started a group for coaching supervision, and I feel I benefited so much. It was a very, was a great experience to get that finished. And I think in all these requirements, the steps, and see, during this time, Fernando never disappeared. He didn't disappear. So when we have question, encounter anything, as long as I reach out to him or we reach out to him, and he would be there to give us advice, counsel, and even practical support. And finally, I got my another step was the recording, and have to get a recording pass, and then it's a process to apply. I think I really had a peace of mind. I had no doubt that even Penny mentioned about our administrator, and even Fernando. See, during the program, if I have encounter any step that I don't know, need a direction, need a little bit encouragement, or really need a resource, he's there, and he's so approachable, and he's so ready and willing to help in any way he can. And that I really had so much peace during this process last 2 years. I feel so supported. Yeah, thank you, Fernando, for that.
Thank you, Kate. It's so mesmerizing to hear your side of the story. For me, I am just always available. I always want to support you. But now hearing, I think it's for me, it's almost like it's what you should do as a mentor, as an educator, as someone who supports other professionals. So to me, it comes naturally. But as I'm hearing from your side of the story, I feel humbled, Kate. At the same time, I feel, oh, what a beautiful, if I could create that peace in you, I just find peace within myself by doing so. So thank you for, I think this is the first time I'm hearing this feedback, Kate. So thank you very much. I feel very humbled and grounded. Thank you. Penny, over to you.
Yeah, I'll second that. You can feel even more humbled. But yeah, you've gone above and beyond, even with me being based in New Zealand, the bottom of the world, even with my mentoring with you. It's just been outstanding. So thank you so much. And as Kate said, you're always there, and Leah, always answering questions and still answering questions, or any ethical questions that I have, even in individual coaching, that I can ask you, not only team coaching. But Kate did a really good job of this, sort of bringing through some of the steps with the application. What I might have to add is, the 5 team coaching engagements, 2 of those you need letters from the sponsor on letterhead and things like that. So looking into that as well. So just maybe getting all your information ready on like the timings, how much coaching versus facilitation and training maybe was in that, because when you do, obviously, and even the exam, the modalities are really important around coaching hats, facilitation training. And so when you submit your coaching engagements, they will ask how many hours of coaching versus training or facilitation. So it's just good to start to think maybe a little bit about that. With the 5 hours is what you need of coaching supervision, isn't that right? I think, Fernando, for
yes, that's right.
yeah,
Yes.
ACTC. I've been lucky enough to be part of the humanitarian coaching network, where I do pro bono coaching for development agencies and companies. And so I get complimentary supervision every January till about July, and I've been doing it for the past 3 years. So I had the coaching hour or the supervision hours, which was really good, that I could use. I've just finished another round of the supervision, but that's another tip if anybody wants to do some pro bono coaching with the Humanitarian Coaching Network. They offer you the supervision, which is really good. And I absolutely love the supervision space. That may be something down the line that I look at even studying, but anyway. And then preparing for the exam, that was the other thing, I suppose, was the last thing for us to kind of prepare for. There's a few resources out there. I know that when I reached out on LinkedIn, I tried to find a few other ACTC people. As Fernando said, it's only been since 2023, I think. So there's not that many people. I think it was maybe 230 people or so that had got it, or maybe even back then. So I'm not sure how many people have got it since, but I reached out to a few people. So don't be afraid to reach out to any of your connections anyone on LinkedIn that's got their ACTC as well to ask what they thought. And I had some lovely people come back to me and give me their insights as well. One was around looking up Hawthorne. It's Diana Idias, and she shares a lovely YouTube video. It's about an hour long of the actual going through the exam and some of the typical questions. You can also go into ICF, and there's some sample questions there too that you can look at, best and worst, and they explain. And then Solutions Academy also have a link. They have a mock test. Look, some of the questions, you know, ICF might say that's right or wrong. So I wouldn't put everything into it, but if you just wanted to see an example of some questions as well, that can be quite a good resource. And then listening, obviously, to ICF do a lot of the code of ethics and the competencies as well. And I know that some of the competencies have been updated since, but they don't affect the exam. So yeah, that kind of leads us to the exam, which I'm sure is another question.
All right, Penny, I think you guided the conversation into answering Usa's question. Both of you guided your answer to this Usa's inquiry very well. So now if we may invite both of you to share a bit about your experiences, especially around suggestions for ACTC application and the exam. Kate, would you like to start?
The application, once you have major things ready and then start the application. I wish I started a little bit earlier. I was waiting for all my things done, to start the application. But it's not necessary because you can start earlier. And I don't know how long it can be opened. You know, the application can be open. Maybe find that out. I feel like if you open the application too long, what will happen, right? Yeah. So I didn't. I opened the application and completed in a couple months, and then the approval. I think not even a month. Not even a month. Maybe 2-3 weeks. I completed. Mm-hmm.
And how was the exam, Kate, for you?
So the exam was easy. Well, originally that's why I applied ACC last year. So I wrote the ACC exam because I thought, okay, let me get my ACTC first, and then I'll deal with PCC later. Because the PCC is like, I really have a headache, felt like so difficult, right? I thought maybe I'll try ACTC, but that's why I wrote ACC exams so that I can apply ACTC. But it still work out, you know, there's always, it's going to take longer than what you anticipated. I probably wish I had wrote the exam a year before, maybe 2024 to write ACTC exam. But actually, I wrote my exam in July 2025. It's taking longer, but that's okay. So it took me almost 2 years to get it, but that's okay. And also, I think Penny and I both wrote the PCC exam first, and then ACTC exam. And there might be reason for that. It still ended up I wrote PCC first, because ACTC is on level 2. If you prepare the PCC exam, you pretty much have the individual coaching part. Then you will add those 27 team coaching competencies on top. And so that'll be complement what we already know, what we already acquired, the competencies we already acquired. I think that would be very helpful. So that was the exam for ACTC. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kate. I would like to clarify something that Kate mentioned. She mentioned that she wished that she started her ACTC application earlier. And Kate mentioned she's unsure how long it will remain open. I can confirm it's 12 months. So you have all the way 12 months once you begin your application, not the submission. Once you begin your application, you can keep it open and submit all the requirements into the dashboard within a period of 12 months. If you did not pay and submit within the 12 months, then the application will be expired, which will not have any specific implication except that you will have to start a new application altogether if you could not submit within those 12 months. And over to you, Penny. What are some of your suggestions for preparing for the ACTC application, as well as the exam?
Yes, that's good to know. I didn't know that was 12 months either, so that's really good to know. I think exactly that. Go in, if you've had 1 or 2 team coaching engagements, just put them in, then you know what they're looking for, and you can actually see what the application is all about. I a bit like Kate, I kind of saved up. I think I had done all the sessions that I needed, the 5. So when Kate mentioned there about the business incubator, so with the group and team coaching course that we did with Fernando, you have 2 options of doing different things. So there's the coaching labs, which you pair up, which is what Kate and I did. Kate ran 1 and I ran 1. So we were coach and co-coach together. So there's 2 examples of team coaching. And then there's the business incubator, which we didn't do due to timings and things, that you have an option to do, which Fernando can tell you more about. So yeah, I would just start to think about what are some of the things that you've been doing: workshops, team building, coaching, group coaching, and start to maybe pop one into this application so you can see what they're asking for. They do ask you for a bit of a summary about, what was the overall context, what did you coach on? So it's kind of good when it's fresh in your mind. I had to go back and look at some of my PowerPoint presentations and a few other things that I had just to remind myself of things as well. So that's a really good tip, I think. And then once they've approved it, you've got 60 days to book in your exam. It's proctored, so it's videoed, and I didn't want to do it at home. I have a dog and people coming and going and you can't leave your seat. So I actually went and did it in the testing center, the same place that I did my PCC, which I really liked. So I knew what I was getting into this time around when I went to have it. And I have it all here, 62 questions, roughly 2.5 hours long, and a 10-minute break. And I would say take the break. You might find that you go through some parts quite quickly. So as Kate said, some of it's kind of easier than PCC, definitely. So section 1 is multiple choice questions. I worked out maybe if there's 14, 15 questions, you have like 1.5 minutes per question, but they're multi-choice. So you're just asked, or it's a statement and you have to pick the best response. It's quite quick. There's always instructions, and then the exam items, it gives you your time. At the end of each section, you can flag any of the questions that you feel I'm not too sure about, and then you can go back at the end if you've got time within that section. So if you're finished at 21 minutes, you've got 2 minutes to go back and look at the flagged ones. Once you finish that section, you can't go back to the old section to have a look at those questions at all. Then you go into scenario-based questions. I think there's around 18, and you have about 2 minutes roughly there to answer each. But again, there's instructions, and I think the exam's around 40 minutes. Then a break, and then the same format again, multi-choice and scenario-based questions. So you need to get a score of 460 out of 600 to pass, which is the same as PCC. So it's roughly about 70%. I think the majority of people do pass. I think somebody asked a question there, but do pass on their first time doing it. And if you don't, you can do it again, a bit like PCC. I think you have to pay like $100 to do it again. I'm not too sure. That might be another thing to look up. I know with PCC, if you fail, you've got to wait 2 weeks to do it again, and then you have to wait 30 days, and you can do it, I think, 5 times maybe in the year. Fernando might know the answer to that one. But yeah, I did find the scenario-based questions a little bit more nuanced because it's a team if you've done your PCC or your master's or your ACC. But I found there's like you know, the CEO, the CRO, the HR director. There's lots of names to try and throw you. And I think the main thing is to just like, where is the client and where's the issue or the challenge, and really to try and focus on that. And then again, there's like the PCC or any of those exams, there's 4 options. So you've got 2 best, 2 worst scenarios, and you just drag and drop them in and then flag if you want to go back, same thing. And it's not what maybe you think you do. I know that some people who've been doing team coaching for a long time can sometimes say they can nearly go against you, because you have to really think about what ICF would want you to do. And Fernando always said to me when I was going through all my training, it's a bit like a driving test, stay in your lane. Do you remember saying that to me? Stay in your lane and really focus, and really kind of exaggerate. So in other words, know your competencies, know the code of ethics, and really try and think about what ICF would want you to do, not necessarily what you would do, and be aligned with what they're asking.
Thank you, Penny. I do remember that conversation. All right. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Kate. I think I can add to the question that Andrea asked, which Penny already answered. Yes, in case if you well, touch wood, no one will fail any exam, especially when you go through Ignite. We prepare you really, really, really very well not to fail, right? We don't go there, but to answer this question pragmatically, as you are aware, when a new credential is introduced by ICF, they are lenient. And I don't know whether you know that I got my ACC credential many years ago, over a decade ago. And it was so simple to get the ACC credential at the time. In fact, do you know that I was able to count in all my coaching hours even before I joined any training at the time, long time ago when we applied for ACC. But now you know that it's a very, very strict process in comparison to how it was a decade ago. So therefore, ACTC is where ACC, PCC, MCC a decade ago, which means at the moment it's a bit lenient because it's a new credential. Not many coaches are qualified yet, like what Penny said, 200 plus coaches. So it's a very small pool of coaches. Therefore, it's not like the structure of the ACC, PCC, MCC exam. You don't need to wait. You can immediately reapply. You have to pay the resit examination fee, which is natural. And then within this 12 months, within the same application, you are able to try out the exam several times if you need to. In case if you are not able to pass the exam within that 12 months period, then you have to start all over again, a new application altogether, which means submit your certification again, submit your experience again, and repay the entire fee for the credential and then take the exam. So I don't think anyone will need that, but this is the technical information just to share. And also what Penny said at the end, like what you might be doing when you work with organizations could be different from what is really team coaching, if not what this exam entails. And also that's an aspect that I would like to address a little bit. Now, this is also really your competitive advantage, because often when we see many different professionals, like for an example, Kate is a project management professional, accredited project management professional. And then there are project managers, there are facilitators, there are trainers, there are different types of professionals who deliver services to organizations. And most of them use a training facilitation approach or consultation approach delivering services to organizations. But when you go into an organization, start really focusing on team coaching, if not coaching competence, as the key driver of your delivery methodology. This creates autonomy in the within the teams, groups. It also creates their own ability to continue team coaching, even the team coach disengaged from the group after a specific period of time. Therefore, organizations notice how valuable team coaching approach in organizational development in comparison to facilitation, consultation, training, and so on, because it's widely available. There are only very few coaches who are capable of delivering organizational development using a team coaching approach. So I think that's a way to stand out from the crowd in one way. And on the other side, since this is a new credential, and I believe the exam criteria plus the application criteria is quite lenient. So it's a good time for us to approach this exam and also acquire it as soon as possible. I mean, it's the obvious to mention that you become a pioneer in the industry as you continue as well. All right, so let's bring our attention back to Penny and Kate. So another thing that we would like to understand is that what are some of the pitfalls, if not complications, that you may have observed along the way to gaining the ACTC credential? Penny, would you like to start?
Yeah, it's a hard one actually. I think for me, there weren't too many pitfalls. It was more around preparing, I think, for the exam. So for the PCC, I probably put in a lot more work than I did for my ACTC. I found when I went to study for the exam, I already had a lot of the knowledge because I had done it last year. I think I got my PCC last November, and I got my ACTC a couple of months ago, whatever. So there's not that much time really that was left between the two. So then it was just trying to gather, you know, I read through all our notes, you know, from our sessions that I had with you, Fernando, and Kate, anything that we had done. Yeah, talking to different people, you know, also just being a bit more in tune with sort of thinking about team coaching. I'm sure there's also podcasts and things like that you could be listening to if you want to immerse yourself. I actually had a call with Diana Idias from Hawthorne as well, which was really nice because I had reached out to her to thank her for her YouTube video, and she said if you want to catch up anytime, and we had a lovely session, which was really nice. So there's lots of people out there. I think don't be scared to reach out to talk to people and tee up with people or co-coach with people. I think that some of the pitfalls could be around thinking you're not ready. And I think you'll find that a lot of the things that you're maybe doing are already classed as this team coaching application, like Fernando said as well, those different modalities around coaching, training, facilitation, that they still can be used in your application. So yeah, and I think just ensure that you've, like that, don't let it slide past the 5-year mark, because you'd be putting in a lot of work for you to lose, you know, that engagement as well. And with the exam, I think, you know, I think very few people probably failed the ACTC. Probably, I think the percentage was less probably failed that first time than PCC. Yeah, I can't think of any other pitfalls really. I think your support was just outstanding throughout it. I think knowing that you've got a mentor and support and other people who are coming from a good place and that they can help you through it if you have any questions too is really important. So yeah, maybe you have a mentor even in your supervision as well. Just if you've got any questions, Fernando obviously can help guide you as well. But Kate and I are on LinkedIn. If you've got any questions like that, please reach out to us separately as well. Be happy to answer any questions.
Sure. Yeah, as Penny said, feel free. I'm on LinkedIn as well to reach out to us. As far as pitfalls, I think one thing we need to watch out for might be not everybody would have these, but in general, we are more hard workers ourselves and not good at teaming up and pair with others. And that's very good quality to develop especially if we want to be a team coach, whether you want to coach a team or to coach a group. And working with a team, in order to be the team leader, we have to be able to accommodating, including, I would say accommodating is maybe that's the word to use, accommodating. So Penny was on the opposite side. You see, this was her afternoon time and my evening time. She wasn't in the class, but I took initiative to reach out to her. Hey, Penny, hey, I'm in the class. If you have any questions or any of the, because she didn't get to practice the exercise. She was not, during the class, she was not able. If you want to do anything, I can coordinate a time with you, do separately, you know, off the class when to accommodate her. I feel like she was in my cohort. If I can do something to at the time, Fernando didn't say we need to pair up or anything. Just at the beginning, I just felt I want to reach out to all my teammates in the class, that if I was able to do one more exercise of the class with her, and that way accommodate whatever she want to do, and I get twice practice, once in the class, once off the class, why not, right? So that was my mentality. So I reached out to Penny. She's also very people person, like to connect, and so we communicated on and off quite a bit. And when we need to have when Fernando at the end of the training, and Fernando said you need to pair up with somebody, very naturally we paired up. Could I pair up with somebody else? I could reach out to more people. That's not a problem. But eventually, it's Penny and I, we paired up. It takes some work with other people who is not like you, right? We each are unique, very different from each other. And so we had a different engagement set up, and she has a different engagement set up. When the time I support her, when the time she support me, and it worked out. It worked out really well because she's very professional and I'm professional, and we feel like it's probably easier, especially our personality, more like this connecting type of personality. So that's somebody, like if somebody say, oh, I'm very introverted, not quite, maybe it's an opportunity to develop that, to work with others. Because if we want to coach a group, coach a team, we need to accommodate all the people. Let's say if you have 5-6 people in the group coaching, or 5-6 people in the team coaching, we need to observe all people. A good role model, this is I always see Fernando, even though he's so much young, he's younger than me, but I feel like, you see, he's doing really well. His previous mentors, supervisors, and his clients, people in the class, no matter what type of personality, he's able to work with all people. And I feel like, oh my goodness, I wish a lot of times I wish I would be like that, So in that, so when we get to practice this engagement, let's think about we have to think about stretch ourselves. How can I grow? Not only in coaching competency, it's in our character. It as Fernando said, that's become part of him, just to help people, try to be there, be available as an educator, and that's what he thinks. If as a team coach, we have to observe other people to accommodate, we are serving them with our professional skills. So it's a type of service, but I think that's very important. I mean, I don't know if I'm talking too much about that. Another thing I felt like Penny mentioned about the exam earlier. It didn't. I agree with everything she said. I think when come to getting credential, you mentioned about 5 years. Is that because it only valid 5 years from the time you acquire your certificate? Penny?
I think so, Fernando, isn't it? Is it?
Okay.
I think you've got 5 years from your certificate to apply.
Okay. Yeah, okay. No, regardless the number of years, I think one thing is very important is the mindset. What's in our here? If I make this a priority, if I feel I already got education, I have so many 15, 20, 30 years work experience, I can pull off the engagements. And I can pay a very good coaching supervisor to supervising me and do whatever it takes. If I think the determination, the commitment is very important. The thing is that the exam, whatever it's on there, it's not difficult. It's what we put our mind to. Is it a priority for us? Do I feel like I need to get this. Or I'm already here. You didn't come here just to come here. Just get everything and with that credential as well. That's what I want to share with you.
Fantastic. All right. Okay. So thank you very much. And I have, since, well, Kate and Penny both are mothers and also working professionals, and Penny has a meeting and Kate's day is ending. And I think Kate's just put your baby to sleep, I believe, at the moment. So thank you very much for making time and being here. I'm being very mindful of your time. We only have about another 13 minutes. So I have a final inquiry. I mean, I have a lot of questions for Penny and Kate both, but considering our time, I have one final question and also quickly share with you about the program a little bit, if you allow me. Kate, Penny, I would like to invite you to think about, you have been through this journey, education journey, that now it has been about 2 years. Altogether, you even have obtained your credentials. How do you feel? How is your confidence level when you approach an organization, when you work with an organization? It is absolutely important that we focus on credentials, our qualifications and all of that. Those at the end of the day support us to elevate our confidence, credibility, I would say, and also make it easy for us to approach organizations because of our background. But at the same time, I think what is most important is beyond these labels, certifications that we have. Now, how does that really fulfill you as a professional? How does that make you confident as a professional to go out there and to really create value and impact? So how do you find yourself in that space? How do you feel about it? How is your confidence level? So that's the question. Please allow me a minute. Just to conclude what is included in this program. So apart from the learning component, we also, like both Kate and Penny mentioned, that we also highly encourage you to really deliver coaching. And one of the things I noticed at the beginning of delivering this program about 8 years ago, 7 years ago, is that when our coaches completed the program, and then when I tap into touch base with them after like 6 months, what's happening? What organizations do you coach? And they say, oh, I haven't really started yet, Fernando. The program was great. I know what to do, but I'm very scared to approach groups and teams or organizations, right? So I saw this gap, coaches going from education to actual professional delivery of what they learn. Therefore, we created 2 programs. One is called Lab, the coaching lab. The other one is Incubator, where either you create a group of professionals and work with one of the colleagues together so that you gain the experience quickly. If not, we create something called Ignite Incubator, Business Incubator, where we provide you a group or a team where you will work with someone that we provide to you, so you don't have to do any business development. Rather, we expose you to our network with a marketing effort where some of our clients may decide to work with you. So you have this opportunity, and this is absolutely free of charge as well. If not, it's included in the program, let's say like that. So that gives you this transitioning opportunity from program to actual delivery of coaching in organizations. Now, earlier I mentioned this program enables you to gain the PCC credential. So just to let you know, so we are able to upgrade your level 1 to level 2, even though you may have completed your program elsewhere. Maybe even if it is not a level 1 program, doesn't matter. You bring that program to us, and we provide you 65 hours of additional education through the team coaching route, where we will combine these 2 certifications and offer you 125 hours level 2 certification. Now, since the team coaching program focuses on team coaching specific competence, through the 6 months of ICF mentoring program, group mentoring program, you receive what is required for you to go from level 1 to level 2. And then, as you're aware, we also have an ICF PCC credentialing practice exam. Our credential bundle includes all of these things. And also you gain the coaching experience through our accelerator program, which is one-on-one accelerator. I believe many of you are already in that program. And then also we do the internal assessment of your 2 PCC recordings, because this is a level 2 program. And then, of course, as Penny and Kate mentioned, we provide you comprehensive support all the way through to your credential from the day you start with us. And then speaking of ICF team coaching credential, which is our focus today. So this program delivers you 65 plus hours of team coaching certification, and you only need 60 hours of education towards your ACTC credential. And like Kate mentioned, we can provide in-house supervision if required, either myself if there's time. If not, I'm happy to direct you to my supervisor who does a lot of team coaching on a regular basis. And also through the incubator, you can gain the coaching experience and the requirement towards some experience towards the application process. We support you through this entire journey. Like I mentioned, we are commencing our next cohort next Wednesday. We still have a few seats left. This includes 12 live classes and a comprehensive set of online learning, and then plus the incubator sessions later. So you're most very welcome to explore this further since we still have another week. If you are interested, let us know. If you would like to know more about program fees or any other specific operational details, please go to our website. If not, feel free to reach out to us. And keep in mind, if you are being introduced by one of our faculty members, you're also able to gain a $100 discount. In case if you are not connected with a faculty member, feel free to reach out to Ignite, and we are happy to provide you that discount as well. All right, so with that, let's hear from, as our final inquiry, to Kate and Penny. So what is your confidence level? How do you feel now that you have been through this journey, and most importantly, acquired the credential and also actually delivering group and team coaching in the industry? Over to you. Penny, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you. It's definitely given me, I think, because you do it for yourself. No one's telling you to go and do this. So for me personally, a great sense of accomplishment and achievement to get both of those PCC and ACTC credentials within, I suppose, the last year. It has given me an air of confidence, but it's also given me like another outlet. Like I love individual coaching, and I've done facilitation and workshops, but I love this space, and I just think it's so powerful for groups and teams to actually have a space like this, to be able to be that catalyst and sit in the room, and like what I said earlier, like getting them to throw the ball amongst each other and ask each other questions, and how powerful it is to help people grow and learn. It's such an important forum. And I think particularly with organizations, because it is much newer, not many people really know what actually they're going to get out of team coaching, because coaching has been thrown around as a word through sport, and obviously everybody has different styles of coaching, and there's different bodies that train you. And so I think then when you go into team coaching, there is a bit of education to be done with organizations around what it is and what it isn't, and a bit like the modalities, explaining the difference between facilitation and training. But that's not saying that you can't bring that in to your sessions or your engagement, and you can bring in psychometrics, and you can bring in other speakers, and Fernando does a great example of sharing phase 1, 2, and 3 of the business incubator as well, and what you like, an actual model of what you could be doing to set yourself up. So we really encourage people to have a look at that. And even though I didn't do it, it really helped me format some of my group and team coaching engagements, and I know that we did some of that in our mentoring as well. So just go for it, just get it done. You'll be glad you did it. It opens up a whole other array of type of work, and like Kate said, it's so lovely to work with other people. It can be quite a lonely space doing individual coaching sometimes, just one-on-one, and to be able to work with teams and organizations, it opens up so much more for you. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. As you're saying that, I have congratulated you many, many times, but I congratulate you one more time. The intention, the effort, the true sincerity you put into this journey, Penny, as you're speaking today as a qualified professional, my heart is truly singing. So congratulations once again.
Thank
I have
you.
witnessed your journey, and you truly, very sincerely went through that journey. You put in that real effort. I noticed that you never look for a shortcut. You never looked for an easy way out. You just want to do it properly. So I congratulate you. I salute you. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Penny.
It means a
Also,
lot.
thank you for being here and so generously sharing your time and insights with us. Really very inspiring. Thank you. Kate, over to you. How do you find yourself in this space?
Yeah, I do. I very much reckon what Penny shared. I became very confident. Actually, after my exam in early August, I was able to deliver a public speaking an hour workshop for those project managers. This was at the conference for the project manager, and for them to introduce them about what organization I actually delivered, organization structure, and and bring out at the end team coaching. And based on the title was driving alignment and ownership in cross-functional team. And I was like, oh, this is tie-in writing coaching. So I was able to use the whatever I learned through this program since 2 years ago, and also added some of my own other knowledge and research into these. It was well received, and I was able to. I feel like maybe this is on the side. 2 years ago, I was a conference speaker. So what I did was emotional intelligence. Out of the 6 people who wanted to present emotional intelligence, I was chosen. But you can know the topic was so popular because a lot of people can talk about emotional intelligence. Some very accomplished leaders, and they want to speak on that. And I was the one chosen to speak about emotional intelligence. This time, about this team, I think there are also a lot of people who want to talk to, but the workshop I delivered was really very, very top, got a lot of attention. And see, this is the thing. If I did not have this training, I probably would not be that confident, would not be able to pull those things together. You know what I'm saying? And or as a topic, a lot of people already know about you. It's hard for you to stand out, right? You're lucky if you're chosen, but what if you're not chosen? But when we talk about the subject, not many people are equipped or trained for doing that. We would be stand out and with a lot of confidence. It is really I'm very confident to do team coaching, group coaching, go to organizations. I'm very a lot of confidence in that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And when you go through the program, when you finish and you get your credential, you will too.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kate. I would say the same thing about you, the way how diligently you went through the program. Every corner, every dot, every comma that you were paying attention to and asking questions. And in fact, I could see both of you from the very beginning of the journey that very well determined. You both had a clear plan. Kate, you were very pragmatic. You were approaching and you were communicating with me on a regular basis. This is what I thought I would do first, Fernando, but now I would like to do this first. How can we move forward? It was truly a co-creation, Kate. I remember your communication back and forth and being really well aligned with the journey that you went, like a very intentional journey. So I take my hat off to you. Congratulations. And I celebrate with you this success. And also I celebrate with you, Kate, that you are a speaker. You get invited to different organizations, different events to speak about what you do. And I think that itself speaks for your success and the deliberation that you bring into everything that you do. So congratulations, Kate. It's such a pleasure, such an humbling experience to stand in front of you. You're qualified now, even beyond qualified me as in the team coaching world, because I don't have an ACTC credential, but you both have, right? So you surpass me in professional qualification as you continue. So I'm so very proud. And I'm also so very proud that you are a faculty member, and I'm so grateful that you are here. And so our colleagues can continue to learn from the best, the pioneers and the experts. So once again, I thank Kate and Penny for joining us today and so generously sharing your time and insight. And also those who are joining us live, thank you for being here today. And also those who are joining us online, if you are interested in getting to know more about the program, feel free to reach out. We are very happy to accommodate you and support you through your professional development. So I wish you a wonderful rest of the week. And I hope this session is inspiring, and feel free to reach out to Penny and Kate both. We will share with you an email where we will mention both Penny's, Kate's LinkedIn accounts, so you can connect with them and keeping in touch as well. So wish you all the very best and look forward to seeing you in our next session. Bye for now,
Thank you so
colleagues.
much.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kate.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.